everyone. Hello. How are you? Thank you so much for joining Sacred Para. This is RK, and I'm here with you on a Saturday, and I'm a little bit late. Nature called. I had to respond, and it took a little bit longer than what I anticipated. But I'm so glad that you guys are with me today on this Saturday. I hope that you guys are having an awesome day. Hi, Life in Doldom. I actually just sent you a message letting you know that I've been in the bathroom, so I apologize for the delay. Hi, Coach Play. That's my husband, spelled with an I and not a Y. He can handle any of your fitness, any of your fitness goals that you have, nutritional goals that you have, that would be the person to reach out to. So thank you so much, guys, for joining. Without further ado, I am going to bring my soul sister into our conversation, and that is Life in Doldom. So give me one moment while I get our conversation going. And as you guys may know, today we are talking about behind the scenes. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing better. I am doing much better. Been having a little something going on with my stomach, so I think I've been feeling it probably since around Thursday, just the bathroom situation. So I apologize for the delay, but we are together. You look great.
So do you. Hi.
Thank you. Oh, this was like literally like a 4-minute job. I was like,
You're like,
there you go. There you go. Oh, goodness. So this is Life in Doldom, and Honey's not staying on the shoulder. If you do not follow her page, I am encouraging you emphatically to go to her page. Each one of those pages that she has is in my the caption from yesterday. So check out that post. Go to her page. You're going to want to go all the way back to the very beginning of her storyline, because you have such good drama, like just realistic drama.
thank you.
It's just good. It's just good. That's all I can say. And I've said it before, I got hooked when I saw the, phone's doing something. Don't do this, phone.
Don't do it.
All right. I know. I'm like, don't do it. But I got hooked to your storyline when I saw Margot's water break.
Oh, yeah. Were you pregnant?
Yes.
Were you pregnant?
I was pregnant. Was I pregnant? No, maybe I wasn't. But it was just so realistic.
Yeah. That was fun for me. It was tricky. There was a lot of people involved in it. Like, okay, hold this and I'll hold the camera and ready. When I say go, drop the water, like.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Like, what do you do behind the scenes? So I've already sent you some questions, and I wrote them down as well about what happens behind the scenes.
Somebody asked.
What's the page name?
Yeah, it's Life in Doldom.
And actually, you can see it right at the very, I know on my screen, I can see at the top both of our names.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always go to, check out the very, very top.
Yes.
I don't know if you would call that a caption, but the title is right there, and it has both of our names up there. So
I totally forgot about that.
Oh, goodness. So, talking about what happens behind the scenes, I went ahead and had them bring my diorama up here. This is like my classic room box that I use for so much.
Brick. Oh, clearly.
Exactly. And we can see the behind the scenes right here with everyone's different houses and apartments behind you.
Yeah, this is in progress. This is I was painting the mountain on my wall. So I figured
Bob Ross in it. I remember we talked about that.
So I grew up watching like really old movies, like Wizard of Oz. Who didn't grow up watching that? But like their sets in the back are painted. And it's just because you don't really pay attention to it. So I put so much effort into it. So it's a craft project. So
yeah. But I like, so let's talk about it. What happens in your behind the scenes? Who's making what? Like, how do you do these very just exquisite and detailed dioramas?
My husband helps a lot. Let's see. This is, like I said, a work in progress. So I'm thinking of it like a city set, like in Hollywood. So this is just wood. It's like a me, And so I'm going to make the front look like stone, like the side of a building, because it's just, you know, a corner. And then we'll have a door. But this dollar store.
What?
And I just like took all the flowers off of it and spray painted, because I was like we've got my mini right here. It's the perfect height for him. So
it is.
I was going to try and figure out a stained glass idea, but a lot of it is me making a giant mess in here and then being like, oh, I have to clean this up. But my husband helps making like the wood stuff. I can turn the camera over to, here we go. So over here.
Oh, wow.
This is all
That's
like
so pretty.
lawn, like it's the background, it's the corner. But I made like stairs, and like these are extra stones, flat stones I found, and stuck them on there. And moss has become my best friend because I stick it everywhere to cover up seams and stuff. That Mod Podge. Mod Podge is golden in this shed. So
wow, that looks so good. And then, of course, exactly, this is like your new one that you're working on, the pillar.
Yeah, it was Pringles containers. I saw another doll account, and I can't remember, but I want to say it was Sassy Dolls made something similar. And it was like, she had like really cool posters on hers. I haven't gotten that far yet, but
yeah,
moss is my friend. It covers the seams. And everything up here where I live is covered in moss. So it works up here. But yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that. And of course, Margot and Donnie now have an entirely new kitchen.
Oh, yes, they do.
Oh my gosh. I liked their kitchen at first, but this new kitchen is definitely on my wish list for how I want my kitchen to be. They have like they have working cabinets and everything. And you said that your husband helped you build this one.
Oh, he built.
Look at that.
I'm going to give him the credit. He built this. And
he did a phenomenal job. Look at this.
I wish that they were more cabinet, like they could open like a cabinet, you know. But yeah, this I did do. I made it look more like, I tried to make it look like metal.
It does.
Yeah, it's super, there's so much room. It's super cute. These all open.
Oh, wow.
Cookie jar or cookie cutters. Tiny Appetite, I think that's the account name. She made all of these.
Look at those. Oh, wow.
Dishes.
Those
So
are pretty.
it's super, super fun. This is my table. My husband also made this table. Just little pieces of wood.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, would you say that when you're building these dioramas and you're building the sets, you're building the props, is it something that's kind of like calming for you? It gives you peace while you're doing it?
Oh, yeah. It's very therapeutic. Like, there are times where, especially if I'm kind of stuck in the storyline, it's like, I got to do something else. I got to, like, channel this somewhere else. And the paintbrush is, like, the best way to go. So it's either, what can I paint? Or what can I make to paint? Or, you know, like this was, ooh, I can paint that. So I'm finding I really like to paint. So, but yeah, I think that crafting is important, and it's definitely tricky. There are some things I'm like, I don't know how, the tiny little clay food. I have had everyone. I'm like, I have tried. How do you not get the fingerprints on there? Oh,
I know. And then they take like the toothbrush and they give all this texture. I watched the videos. I'm like, one day I'm going to sit down and do this.
I think
it looks great.
Enough, because I'm like, okay, I'll do the toothbrush to make the bread texture. I'm like, I smashed it. Dang it. Like,
someone was running. Maybe like Ruby was running and the bread didn't rise. Like you can still use it. Just
that's a good idea. It's flatbread.
Change the whole storyline. I like it. So when it comes to family, I'm gonna put Honey over here. When it comes to family helping, in what ways do your family help you with your, you know, with your setup? Which I know you said your husband helps you with building the furniture. What about like whenever you're taking pictures? Do your daughters help you?
Yeah, my oldest, she will hold the dolls or something. Like if I'm going outside, both of them are amazing at, if we're somewhere public, like hanging out, so mom doesn't feel awkward. Like, okay, she is, you know, but there's a kid here. She's not just playing with dolls. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care. But yeah, I think my oldest is more into it than my youngest. She's got her own.
Oh, really?
But that being said, if you were to go into her room, it's very similar to in here, but it's all calico critters. So she may not be into the doll part, but she is like me in that sense. But yeah, my oldest, she likes to especially tidy up stuff. The tiny little, she likes to organize and rearrange the grocery store. But yeah.
I like that. I like that. But the Calico Critters has some really good stuff, especially like miniatures.
They
I
have,
tried to snag some from my daughter before, from our second oldest. Well, she's number 2 because we got 3 girls. So it was like the second one. I was like, hey, you're not going to take care of that.
well, some of the Calico Critter outfits will fit the little like Kelly dolls. And
Yes.
cute dresses. They have little cute, I mean, they're a little like thicker, I think, like wider. But I found even like the little toilets, they look like training toilets for like a toddler. So I was like, hey, that's perfect. I'm gonna borrow this.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Now, one of the reasons, because in case anyone's like, why are you guys talking about behind the scenes? We're talking about behind the scenes because we're dealing with social media and we're dealing with, you know, photography, you know, regardless you're doing reels or carousels. So we only see the end results.
Yeah.
And we really don't, we don't really dig into like, how long does it really take to take your pictures?
It can, no, I think it takes me longer to set up for pictures and clean up than the actual pictures. Like once I get like everything set, it's just really fast for me because photography is like, that's my first thing, is my first form of art is photography. So thank you. I just got coffee delivered. But yeah, the setup is definitely the longest part because I mean, as everybody knows, you have the dolls that fall and you'll get them set and you'll turn around and come back and you're like, turn it. And the worst is when you have like a big scene, like for anyone, you get this, and then it's like a chain reaction and they all go down and you're like, I'm done. I'm gonna take it. Yeah.
It's the same with me. And it always happens like where everyone else, like at a party scene, everyone else was standing and they were fine. And then that one couple, they stood for like a good 2 seconds and then one rocked and it just, and it does. It makes you feel like, you know, it was break time. I'll do this again tomorrow, or, you know.
Usually me, because it's like when I get my time in here, it's at nighttime and I'm ready for bed. The kids are, you know, winding down. So if I get stuck and stumble, I'm like, yeah, done. I want to still love you dolls in the morning. So
yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, and that's true. That's true because we still have our own personal energy that we have to expend for the next day. And as much as we love our dolls, I mean, and that has been part of my issue as far as like why my storyline seems a little bit stalled. Is like I only have so much energy, and I've got 10 kiddos, and I've got, you know, other stuff that I'm doing, and so you're only going to be able to, you know, apply so much time into your dolls, and then on top of that, you know, studying your craft. So I know that you said photography, and we've talked about that before being your first art.
Yeah.
Do you still spend time like studying extra stuff, like when it comes to lighting and when it comes to, I don't know, like face modes, that kind of thing? Do you spend time studying that as well?
What did you say? Face molds?
Because that's still part of the behind the scenes. Like some people, they only like to, you know, purchase Christy face modes or Millie face modes. And so like just all that stuff.
Or like faces. I'm not a big fan of the dolls that have like the glitter to the makeup, only because of the way that I light the photos. It reflects and it's a little more tricky. I don't know, like I like to play with lighting. I like to see what kind of natural lighting I can try and manipulate in here. And like when I'm doing sunset stuff, I will throw a red piece of fabric over the light to kind of give it that, you know. So it's like I'm constantly trying to challenge myself. Well, if I don't have this lighting, how can I recreate it? And it's
See, I like that.
like, oh, why don't I know this? Like, I should know this, but trial and error.
But there's like no way of knowing all, you know, and just like you're saying, we're working with dolls, and so it's different than working with actual skin tones.
Yeah.
And so the light does hit differently. But I'm bringing it up because behind the scenes, it's still this part that we're constantly experimenting, like you said, challenging yourself, studying. And so all of that comes out in our photos. But like I said, you only see the end result, but all of this adds into what that end result is.
And I know that like more people, and that's why I started the Behind the Life and Dolldom account, is because I know more people wanted to see more behind the scenes. And I don't know. I didn't want to put it in my storyline and my post and like mess up the story and break it up too much. So, and I know that I'm more of a private person, but I'm pushing myself to share more because we all have different ways of crafting and doing behind the scenes. And it does take a lot of work to do all this stuff. Like, you know, like doing the brickwork just on that one wall, like I had so many coats of paint or like Mod Podge and all of it. I was so sticky. I would have taken more pictures, but I literally couldn't. Like my fingers were sticky on the phone. I was like, nah, okay. But
Yeah.
showing more and learning more about your craft is very essential, I think.
I agree. And actually, that was going to be one of the questions as far as why is it important to have these discussions about behind the scenes and also to show pictures, because there's different accounts. And I'm always so blessed whenever they show a behind the scene, like they'll show a carousel of their pictures, and maybe like the very last one, they'll show like what the behind the scenes actually looks like, what the diorama's like, and how they set it up in their room. And it helps me because I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that, or I do mine like that.
Yeah.
You know, I take like a note of how they do it. So for you, what would be, in your opinion, why it's important to show these behind the scenes shots and photos or videos?
I don't know. Maybe just to show that what we go through, to like, but also to teach other people, like maybe your way you're struggling. Look at how I'm doing it. And I am a visual learner. So like seeing something is better than, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like reading it or something. Just seeing, like, there's an account that she had lit something that really looked like a daytime light. And she showed just in her story, like how she posted a light up against the foam core, and it gave that soft illusion. And then like, so it made me think like how, you know, how could I create something like that with what I have?
Yeah.
I've even gone to like using like candlelight, you know, to try and take photos. Oh yeah, especially with like iPhones, the newer iPhones, the candlelight gives off this really soft, like natural lighting. If you have no other lighting around you and you're trying to do like a dramatic, just have like a 2-wick or like 3-wick candle nearby, and it puts off.
Okay.
But that's not, seeing, that's like when I'm in the moment, I don't think about like, oh, I should probably take a picture of this. Because I get going so fast that I take the photos I need and then I forget to go back and be like, this is what I did, guys. So I'm trying.
So when you use the candlelight, did you have all your other lights off and you just had the candlelight right there? Wow. So how did you position that? I'm totally interested. How did you do that? Did you?
Okay, so I can show you. I did it I was testing. I haven't posted them yet. It was of my mini. Don't mind Ruby. She's just hanging out. So
Ruby's so cute too.
And I had the candle here. So I had no other light in the shed. So I just had this light casted on her face here, which made it look like the fireplace, which
Oh my God.
photo. Yeah. So I just slid a candle in there to kind of give that warm, you know, but yeah.
That's so creative and so smart. I like that. And I am going to snag it. I like it. I like it. That was a good one. I like that one because I see some photos and it does look like, you know, if there's a fireplace there, it does look like there's a fireplace. But I also know, of course, you know, technology and people have different apps and they can, you know, put that soft glow, you know,
Yeah, you could do
effect there. But I like that with the candle because it gives it, just like you said, that really warm, natural feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
And then,
that's a good one.
yeah, so what you would like for fire, because the way that the light would work hitting back, making, did I ever show you how I did the candle with the fire for Margot's fireplace? It was like
No.
a battery operated candle, and I just took a bunch of hot glue and like I burnt my fingers, but I was like pulling it like flames, and then I just painted it. If you give me 1 second, I'll be right back. I'll go get it.
Oh, no problem. I can definitely imagine that you did burn your fingers because you said you were pulling it and you had to pull it while it was hot. So, again, these are the struggles that we go through behind the scenes. She's telling you right now that to be creative, you've got to be able to push the margin. And so, wow. Yeah, you did burn yourself, sis. Oh, my goodness.
And I don't know, there's too much light coming in, but it'll like give like off a glow. I just got that at Dollar Tree.
Wow.
5 Tree. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they changed their name, which I don't blame them. But, yeah, but that looks good.
That would be a fun photo challenge, like you were talking about, doing a candlelight photo challenge. Like,
I like that. So did you hear the challenge, guys? I have been challenged too. How to do a fun photo challenge with the light, as far as like with the fireplace, right? And so we can get that nice warmth from the. Okay, I'm looking behind me at my set how I can work this out. I can definitely work this out.
bonfire season, so you could get a bonfire. Yes. You could take a candle outside. Be safe though. Be safe.
Yes.
I live in.
That's very true.
Be safe.
Safety first. That's what we always say. And show us your behind the scenes with it.
Yes, that would be the fun.
Yes.
Add the behind the scenes. I'll post mine.
Yes. So we're gonna take the candle and make a fire scene. Safety first. Safety first, and make sure it's like small, like diorama size. So don't want any like big diorama or big bonfire. But whichever way, like with the fireplace scene, and being able to also show your behind the scene. That's just you literally taking your camera or your iPhone, whatever phone that you have, and just pushing it back so that we can see the whole scene of how you set it up.
I just need to remember to do that. So I will do that though.
I've been working on it myself. I usually try to do a behind the scenes really just for my own record. Like especially like if my girls are holding one of the dolls and we've got maybe like a walking scene.
Oh.
And I literally just deleted some pictures. I shouldn't have deleted it. But it just took too long on my story. I'm gonna admit it took too long on the story, and I was trying to finish up everything with the yoga classes and just dealing with life. And so yeah, I didn't get a chance to post it, and so I just didn't feel as attached to the story anymore. So I was like, forget it. Yeah, I just didn't feel attached. I was like, I can post these, but it's not gonna have that same flow and passion.
Yeah, it feels forced, and so you're like, meh.
It did, but I had the scene where one of my girls was holding the doll right in front, and then I was holding the other one, and so we made it look like they were walking. I take a picture, and then we move them a little and make them walk. So, yeah, show those behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Show those behind the scenes. I keep them for records, but I do want to start showing them more so that other people can see what all we do. It's not just taking these phenomenal pictures and being like, boom, here you go. It was so easy. It's a process.
It's a process. I did, well, it wasn't really behind the scenes. I posted a funny little that Maeve had gone to a pool party, which actually was a good test out because I had bought this wooden planter box last year because it looked like a hot tub.
It does.
I was like, how am I going to fill that up? And so she wanted this pool party, and I was like, wait, I've got something. And we put a big bowl in it, and it worked. So it was like, hey, this is great for summer, and we tested it out now. Like, so that was a fun behind the scenes, and that's why I was like, I have to.
It was. It was. I like it. And actually, honestly, I thought it was part of Mauve's story. And since she went back, I was like, oh, okay, she's like living it up now, you know.
Like, because my youngest was like, well, we need backstory. So I started giving a backstory, and I even talked about Rowan at the pool party. And she's like, oh, I can't wait to meet your sister. So we might have a couple extra just pop-ins and dolldom. So it'll be fun.
And that's the other part of behind the scenes. Like, my second oldest, Elizabeth, she's having a birthday, or not a birthday, but we've got so many birthdays coming up, it's on my mind. But she's having a wedding party.
Ooh,
or wedding. I don't even know why I'm saying party, but she's having a wedding tomorrow, and so I'll be taking my dolls there. Actually, that's what Honey is dressed up for right now. I was gonna use this dress for Lily and Thomas' wedding today, and then I was like, oh snap, you can't wear white. Can't wear white to someone else's wedding.
Oh no, you can't. Well, see,
No,
he is wearing like a white. I was like, that works, because I've got to post her Lily and Thomas's wedding pictures today. But yeah, I was like, that's not too light, is it? That's okay. It's pink.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. That's like an eggshell. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I was like, this is doing too much. So maybe tomorrow she'll go kind of boho. So I've got these little pants right here that I'm gonna cut into and let that be for the wedding.
Oh, you're gonna cut into some. Do you sacrifice fabric?
Yes.
See,
Yes. That's part of the behind the scenes too. Yeah, I do actually. I have actually the sweater that Miss Mabel has in the other storyline with Harper and Miss Mabel. Her sweater literally comes from one of my favorite sweaters. I just cut off the little bottom part.
No one will notice.
No. I'm like, you know what? I'll become like a great grandparent. I'll be like, where did that come from? Because I plan on keeping that sweater and just be like, you know, you sacrifice some things, you know. But these are one of my favorite pants, and it has these little extra flaps on the side that I actually step into a lot of times when I'm going down the steps.
Oh.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut off the little extra. It's supposed to be like, I guess, for dramatic effect, a little wing of fabric right there. I'm like, let me just cut that off, give that to my dolls, make some dresses out of it. So that's what I'm gonna be doing afterwards.
Awesome. I have some fabric in there I could probably part with. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, all part of the upcycling. Take some of the kids, you know, like the baby clothes that they don't wear, upcycle that.
Yeah, I have so many. That's so many good ideas right there. I was like, I could make blankets. Oh.
Yes. Even like old sheets for real. You'd be like, you know.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yes. So we talked about how family can help in. What would you say to someone who's kind of struggling, like maybe they're a beginning account, or they're an account that is just beginning, or even if they've been established for quite some time, but they're kind of struggling with showing their behind the scenes? What encouragement would you give to them on it?
I don't know, because I feel like I'm not very good at encouraging for that, only because I struggle with it. I'm like,
That's encouragement right there.
Yeah, like, just know that other people struggle doing it, and, you know, anything you show is great. You don't have to show anything if you don't want to, you know, but we like to see. Makes it fun part of the doll community. Or
it does. It really does.
To, like, dedicate an account for that, because like that's why I think where I was struggling was posting onto my story and not, you know, kind of breaking up my storyline. So that's where my answer was to make my account where the behind the scenes, to try and encourage myself to post more. And to that, I guess that would be my advice and my encouragement to somebody.
Because I think sometimes, now I think that's great advice, and especially whenever you're saying like I'm still struggling in that. And just like I said, I forget to even post the behind the scenes because I would like to, at least on some of mine, with that last picture, being able to show what happened behind the scenes. And some people, that's what they do. Like they're really, really great at remembering to do that. I think sometimes for some of us, even in the doll community, you can be kind of insecure about not having enough props or enough details. And so that can be something where someone goes, oh, but you have all these little pieces to show for your behind the scenes. And I only have a couch and a plant and a table. And, you know, I don't really know if that's going to, you know, be encouraging to someone or be something that someone wants to see.
Yeah, but behind the scenes also, I hear what you're saying, but like what you were saying about the fabric, like that's, you know, that would be a fun picture, like you pulling fabric out of your closet and being like, I need some inspiration. This looks like I'm sacrificing, you know, because that's the behind the scenes that I didn't even think about the fabric that you pull from your house, or like this, like maybe it doesn't have to be a diorama. This was a shoe, and I've been painting them, and that's something that I've been trying to think about, like posting more, because I mean, we all have tons of these plastic boring,
Yes.
and let's make them cute. And so that's another behind the scenes. So maybe it doesn't have to be, if you're insecure about your diorama and how it looks from like stepping back, because I know a couple of mine, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to show that diorama, like, you know, rough. But up close, hey, so then you could show other stuff, the things that you do, you know, like finding the fabric, painting the shoes, making the clay food, the resin food, all of that cool things that the people make, like crocheting clothes, sewing clothes. It's, you know, like maybe putting a diorama together. I really would like to push myself. It's one of my, it's actually probably, I would say my daughter's pushing, is giving like room tours and just showing like the process of like cleaning up. Like if I could figure out how to show like the cleanup of every room, because I will start at one end and it goes down and around, and I will like just put on a podcast or music, and every room gets cleaned, and it's like everything gets put back, and like that's a fun process that takes a really long time. And that's a behind the scenes that I really want to try and encourage myself to post on my Behind the Life in Dolldom, is the cleanup of, need to speed it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I think that'd be very interesting.
Because I haven't done a reel yet, and I'm like, that would be a perfect one to speed up the cleanup process.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. And you know,
it's like a summer goal. You can put that as like a summer goal.
That is a good summer goal.
Yeah. And I love the fact too that you use your mini as your representative and spokesperson for Behind Life in Dolldom.
Yes. I feel like I don't really want to show me, like my hands will be in there and everything, but I think that this is the perfect representation of me for a behind the scenes doll account, you know, like, yeah.
I honestly feel like she's your muse because I've watched you just like really blossom. Like, you, I mean, like you were, don't get me wrong, you were already like there, okay? You're already there. But I've just watched you just like really blossom and just open up in different imaginative ways since she's been in your life. Like she's like really, really amazing. She really is. You've done so many different fun photos with her and just used her to explore life in Dolldom from different angles.
Thank you. That's a very kind, sweet thing, and it's touching.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. I've enjoyed watching what you're doing in your process with you know, with having her. And like I said, she really does seem like your muse, and she's just opening up different doors and different angles. And so I like it.
She's fun. She's an inspiration. I like sticking her in some of the like, she's kind of like my Where's Waldo when I do like a big group, like grocery store. She'll be in there somewhere, but you got to try and find her. She's fun. Like, you know, like, always showed up in his movies somewhere, and so did like Tim Burton or Stan Lee. They just pop in there, so kind of pops in there somewhere. So It's fun.
Yes. In fact, that is so off subject somewhat, but the MCU movies are just not the same without the Stanley pop-ups.
I know. They could see.
Yeah, this is not. You never knew what he was gonna do. Like he'd be like a librarian right here. He'd be riding a bus right here. He was just great. So yeah, I love Stanley. You know that. I do, because he's an example of, now tying it in with behind the scenes. He's an example of someone who shows you this is what you're seeing on your screen, but this is what really happens behind the scenes, and how we were able to take the struggles and just the different plights of our history and make it into X-Men and make it into not Superman, but Spider-Man. Superman's with DC, but just being able to take something and make it into
I didn't think about that. That's really insightful about him, but he does.
And then he tells you you can do it too. And that's what this is about right now.
Yeah.
Our behind the scenes is something that always encourages you that you can do it too. Like, even if you don't have the materials for the resources right now, you can gather it, because there's plenty of things that you have and that I see, and I'm like, wow, how did she do that? And like you said, photography is your first art. It's not so much for me. I'm learning it along the way. So when I look at you, I'm studying, how did she do that, and what did she do with the lighting? And I may not get it for my next photo, but somewhere down the line, I may be able to use it. And then there's so many other people who are with us right now in our conversation. Tam's Barbie, 1/6 Avenue. I saw her name. Phenomenal pictures. Phenomenal.
Oh, Tam's pictures. She's inspiring me to plant more flowers in my front yard just so that I can. It's so brilliant. There's so many tiny flowers. I'm like, Tammy, that's beautiful. So they're beautiful, her pictures. All of them are.
It is. It really, really is. So
anytime I am just message me if you have a question. How'd you do that? This is how, I'll ask, or I'll tell you, it's super easy. Just message.
Yeah, exactly. So you hear that. If you have any questions, definitely message her. You can message me as well. I will make sure to put both our names in the link, both of your pages. And we do have some questions. Let's see here. Julia Samartez. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Showing your stuff.
No. Remember when I talked to the lighting, the morning lighting? It was her account. Hers, she had done this beautiful morning light with her two dolls, I think after a love scene. And it was, that was her account, was Julia. Beautiful.
Okay, and now that we talk about love scenes, and then I'm going to get to what Julia has posted. So I'm so sorry because I read part of it and then I stopped. But I do want to check out Julia's page too. So after we get done, I'm going to go to Julia Samartez, and then she has that underscore right in between. I'm actually saying it out loud, so when we get done, I can go to her page, go back to this audio, and then go back so I can go to her page. But love scenes. I need inspiration on that, because I will admit, I think I kind of chicken a little, not purposely. Now, when I was a kid, love scenes was just easy. You put those dolls together and you're like,
well,
it isn't a real big deal. But I think I get a little bit more skills on how to do that now.
I have the luxury of privacy in my shed. Before we moved to where we are now, we were in a 900 square foot apartment, so most of my posts or my pictures were done on our dining room table. So a lot of my lovey scenes were done after bedtime. So just because I didn't want that uncomfortable, but now I have this place where I can create with the privacy. There is a small downfall. The 9-year-old will come in, and sometimes I create until 10, and then I go to bed. And she'll come in, and she's like, "Mom, what are they doing?" Sorry. So there is that downfall, but I hear what you're saying. I think it's easier for me because I have privacy, because it used to be more of a challenge. And I do hear my stepmother in my head, keep it classy, I'm like, don't give too much, just give enough. So
How do you find the dolls that work together best chemistry wise? Like is that something that you because I'm thinking, that I mean, like behind the scenes, you're having to see like how do the dolls really match together, you know,
yeah,
when touching her, am I having to like force that hand to really wrap around her?
I hear what you're saying. Because Jolene and David, that was not.
Hey, can we get into that? Because somebody messaged me. Somebody messaged me after you did that. After you had them hook up, I actually got a message like, "Hey, Sacred Para, you got to connect with Life in Doldom so we can talk about this Jolene and David." And I was like, "Gotcha."
It did. I don't know. It was not supposed to go that way, and
Oh, spill the tea. Spill the tea.
pose them together like in the shop. I was like, well, they're so cute together. They just work. And I think it was also my oldest who was like, make them hook up. Like David needs to be more prominent in the storyline. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And so there was, for a tiny second, I was gonna have Jolene get pregnant, but then I was, nah, we don't need any. We have Hazel's pregnant. We don't need any more babies. Not right now.
Oh! Wait, yeah, I did. I knew that. I knew that. Did I know that?
Oh no. Yeah.
Wait, did we know that?
I posted.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We did. Okay, I was like, wait a minute now. Did we just get a spoiler? But yeah, we did. It was like one of their last posts. So yes, it's on there. It's on.
It's funny because like that one, I took the photos with a whole nother dialogue going in my head, and then when I like put them on into a post, like I was looking through them to like write the words out, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to buy another baby, because it was just so perfect the way that it looked, and I heard different words, and so now we're gonna have another baby. So, but yeah,
I'm excited about it. They need that though. They really, really do after that whole situation. Oh my goodness. Yeah, with the kidnapping and Cassie's crazy ASS. My Lord. Like I was and of course we're all waiting to see if she breaks out. We're like okay, so yes, the conversation is now turned to the actual storyline. So just in case anyone's like, okay, I thought we were going behind the scenes. Now we're talking about the storyline because you brought up Jolene and David, and that just switched everything around. So
I think
before I veer off into Cassie, because that was a whole nother a level of drama. But I'm telling you, the whole David and Jolene threw a lot of us off because David, I'll admit, I think that we had kind of all typecast him, if that's okay to say. Like we were like, oh, okay, so he's he's not gonna hook up with Jolene, and they just seemed like they were all really good friends.
Yeah.
Then when that whole night happened, it was like, oh, okay, maybe that was just like a drunken night. But he said he likes all flavors of tea or something like that. I was like, what?
I love show Schitt's Creek. Love it. And David is one of the main characters, and he has a line in there that's my favorite, and the two characters sleep together, and she's like, I'm confused because I thought you, and and he's like, I like all types of wines, red wines, white wines, all types of wines, like just a rosé, and I just thought it was the most well put way to explain something, and I had to put it into the story, and that happened, so I was like, okay, this works. So he's always,
like I said, you have such realism with your storyline, because the reality is that there is this thing called gender fluidity. I hope I'm saying it right, but there's people who are gender fluid. So you being able to put that in there, it spoke to that. So I like that you put it, and like I said, and it totally threw us off, because for those like myself who was like, okay, this is how this is who David is, this is who Jolene is, and when you saw what Jolene just went through, you're not really thinking she's going to hook up with anybody.
Nope. But he's familiar. And he's, I think they're going to heal each other kind of a little bit. So Jillian's kind of going through some stuff. So,
Oh, and I liked it when he came back to the apartment, though. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I liked it. I liked it for several different reasons. One, I felt how my girl was feeling when she was sitting up there and he was talking about his date, and I was like, man, and then you had her leave and go to the bathroom, which I believe we have all been in that situation, in another life, like in our early 20s, something like that. When you like the guy, you hooked up, and then you hooked up on a friends with benefit basis, and now they're talking about their date, and you're like, oh crap. I kind of wish we hadn't hooked up now, but I can't take it personal because it was a friends with benefits situation. Yeah. So when you had that, yeah, like I said, relatable, totally relatable. We've been there, male, female. So when you had her escape, it was like, that makes sense, get out, and then she had to, do some art and get herself together. Been there, understand it. Then you had him come back, and it made so much sense because he's like somebody who understands like this emotional vibration of what she was giving off. And so it made sense that he sensed that she felt a certain way about him talking about his date. I love it. I love it. I'm curious to see where they go, but in the same hand, because of both of their situations, it's like I'm not really expecting like a marriage out of this. Yeah. Like with Rose, and Caleb, I'm like, I'm expecting marriage because the way their relationship is. So yes, we're all expecting this wedding. but I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But with David and Jolene, it's like, wow, like this whole thing is just blossoming and just taking its own journey. And so you're just letting us ride with them. Yeah, and I would completely, because the photos of Jolene in the bathroom that I took, like when she's at the bar with them, the dialogue, yes, that was totally going to be, she was sick, she was going to throw up, she was having morning sickness, maybe she took a test and there was something. But once I took them and I was looking at them, I like got her back to like a dressed her for the apartment, and it was like it wasn't finished yet. It was like, I know it makes I feel like it sound crazy, but the voices weren't there. No, that's not how this is going. So then it was like, okay, well, I gotta figure this out for him to come over. So that's it. Sometimes I'm surprised. Like I never plan these things out. Like I'll try to plan out the story, but it doesn't. It's always very spontaneous, and theirs is, I have an idea how it's gonna go, and so. But then, like just like you said, once when you're starting to post those pictures, the voice is totally different. So sometimes it's going the way that you kind of thought it would, but then sometimes, like you said, you were planning on Jolene probably getting pregnant, and then it was completely different. And I like it. I think to see Jolene, every time that you bring out Jolene, I'm not gonna say every time, but at least 70% of the time, her story goes different than how you expect it. Every time, yeah. It's like when she had her arms like wrapped around his neck. Yeah, I don't know. She's a firecracker. She's a strong one, but her storyline, she wasn't even supposed to be a strong character. She was supposed to be like the lady that Patrick was with. That was it. And she turned it all around. Yeah. And someone said that's why your storyline is so good. Your story is so good. And it's true, because you're letting your characters just speak and be who they're going to be. Just like I didn't know, there was no hint in the story that Hazel was going to get pregnant. And now, nobody told me. Like, no, I'm joking. Honestly, and I like how you did everything, though. I kind of thought that he was going to hook up with Cassie. I did. I'm glad that he didn't, though. But I was really like, oh man, see, okay, he's going to go for it. She was gonna. But I think it was my husband that was like, please, not them. No, not them. Yeah. And he's like, Karama wouldn't do that. Nope. Okay, so how do I do this? So she went crazy. But I like that, though. I really do, because we see so often where, especially the husband, because, I mean, women do it too, but especially, the male counterpart is usually the one that, she comes by, she winks and kisses on the cheek, and he goes for it.
Yeah.
So when you had him not do that, and he, you know, but I like the process that you had because he was kind of confused,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know Donnie was like, "Man, don't go for it, don't."
And well, he's a doll, but I mean, like the character is. I want him to be as realistic as possible, and I think that any normal, healthy male would be like, oh, you know, any human, not even male, just any human getting a bit of attention. It's, you know, so I was trying to play that realistically, but I'm glad to.
You give your characters layers, and that's why so many, you really, really do, and that's why so many of us relate and vibe with your storyline. So a big, you know, like round of applause on that, but you really, really do. And I believe that everything else that you do, you know, diorama wise, prop wise, you having your family involved. Like I just saw Mr. Fluffykins has some activity going on, and so I'm going to be checking that out as well. But for so many of you guys, you probably already know, some of you may not, but Mr. Fluffykins is an account that's run by your husband.
Yeah.
And so you can share the photos, and I believe you said you actually do the pictures. I couldn't get it out. You do the pictures.
Yeah, I will take the photos and be like, hey, I've got some photos for you that you can't post until I get all of these posted. So hold on to them. And he's like, okay. like when can I post? I'm like, not yet. I'm not ready. But yeah, I need to take more for Fluffykins. We were at the grocery store today and they had little dinosaurs and he was like, woo, Fluffykins needs one. And I'm like,
Mr. Fluffykins, I'm telling you, I really do. I enjoy that cat. He is a trip. And I love seeing him interact with Sai.
yeah.
And now Grandpa Sai is back. And I'm really excited for like how everything's gonna go with him and Eartha, and if they're still gonna be adopting. Don't tell us anything of that nature. But now when it comes to them, you said that you had to like craft their room differently. Because I remember you went through some different, like a different process when it came to doing the bedroom for Eartha and Sai.
I guess I could take the phone over there.
I'm just bringing it up only because each room that you do for your dolls, except like I got this one room box that I try to make different every time as much as I can. But, and I have some other ones, but this is like my favorite room box. But nonetheless, it's a different process each time. Like some of them are going to be really easy to craft, and
I'm not totally happy with theirs just yet, and that's like in the last post you hear Sai say like, so these are the stairs from Margot and Donnie's house. I took them out and I had my husband cut them. So it looks like, upstairs coming. Looks like there's an upstairs. So it's like,
it does.
This is that's all it is their living room, and then upstairs is their bedroom. So
wow.
I painted, and that's just fabric I glued to the ceiling. And then I painted another mountain out here so it looks like a window.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
that's really good.
They just got back, so
yeah, it looks like they really did just get back too. I like it.
Actually,
yes. I like that.
Like a tapestry. It's from my shirts. I didn't wear it anymore, so I cut it off and like hung it.
Yes.
But yeah,
it gives them like that boho vibe.
Yeah. And it's blankets from Mandy Couture. She crocheted, which is nice. They're really great couch blankets. But yeah, this is open here, and I really wish there was a window looking thing, but that like comes down into Margot's front yard. And a wreath made by you.
Yes. Which I want to make you some summer ones too. Wow.
This is my it's like a flat shelf, and this is the park that Lexi was taken from. It's actually the side yard for Margot and Donnie. We're got bunnies.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, because they've got the homestead now.
Yeah. They're trying to be homesteaders. That's my goal. Let's be homesteaders.
I love that. And I love the factor being that you said that was the park that Alexis got taken from.
Yes.
Because, and that brings up that whatever your diorama is, it can serve multiple purposes.
And I wanted that space to be like a multi-purpose. So I didn't, nothing really like the cages and stuff aren't really glued down. And just like you can add like white stuff over to make it look like snow for winter. It's like this area was more of like a multi-purpose street area. I'm not really sure yet. It's I kind of like box it out before I decide. This is Margot and Donnie's other side yard that I love so much.
That's nice.
Little swing set.
Yes, that's what I was just looking at. I like that. And look at that grill.
Yeah. It's just the Barbie one. I just made it look dirty like most barbecue grills are. And, you know.
Did you spray paint it?
I did.
It looks good.
This is there. That's Margot and Donnie's. And then it's like, so like to get an angled roof, I just glued that to the bottom there. So it's a lot of hot glue. I'm a hot glue friend. So
I like that. I like that. Oh, wow. See? That's why we have these behind the scenes.
They're fun. I like them.
It really, really is. And it's so much that you can do that's just fun. You know, it doesn't have to be, just like you said, it doesn't have to be permanent. Something that you're putting together. You do your pictures. And then if you want to change up the scenery, make it winter or holiday, whatever it is, you can, you know, switch it over.
And it's like I like to use wood. And I was using foam core a lot because it's super cheap. But we've plywood and things like that. If you sand them down, you spray paint them, base color, you can like tack like 10, what are they, 12 by 12 scrapbook pages on it, like with the sticky thing, and then you just have reuse it, and it doesn't tear. I've found it's more workable, the wood, working with it. It just holds up better, but you can reuse them and flip them. And
I like that. I do. I like that. I know with this one, I actually painted this wall, and this is just canvas.
Oh,
yeah, it's just canvas. And I think all these sides are canvas. It's just like what you would just use for your painting.
That's a really good idea, because then you have the frame, which kind of gives it that, I'm struggling with rigidity. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
But give it some, and it's got the texture of like a wall or something. That's a really good idea. I wouldn't have, bravo. Yeah.
So this is literally just canvas right here. And this one, of course, has which I need to redo it, but it has the My Froggy printable bricks right here. Thank you, My Froggy. And another side right here, but I'm actually going to be redoing it. And then this is, I'm trying to remember what this is. I think this is just a wood piece that I glued it on. It's been so long, and actually needs to be redone because it's coming apart. But yeah, it's just the paper that's coming off of it. But yeah, it's definitely time for a whole new face, a makeover. But what I did with Dr. Ashley's scene, I used mud cloth fabric on the actual, wall, the diorama wall, to give it a different look.
Yeah, and then
so like one of the last ones when you have like Dr. Ashley and she's going through all the little collection that she has in a basket, and then Lean comes over with the glass slipper. I just took that mud cloth and put it over the wall and made it look like
I thought it was
a different area.
That's really good. That's a safe or
Thank you.
Space saver for you. So you're not building tons and tons of dioramas, but you can
exactly
swatches of fabric. Like if you were doing like a fancy event, you could do little satin swatches over the sides, like with some plants, like a wedding or something. Ooh, for the wedding tomorrow.
That's true. And so like and that's very, very true. And even when I had that Sacred Para party event, this is what I used.
Oh, okay.
And that was like the tinsel from like from like the Christmas tree. And I just glued it on there. Some of them have come off since that time, but yeah, glued it on there and made it work.
I like it. So you're speaking of party and Sacred Para, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, it is. It is the big one, the 401. So
so yeah, we got
Hmm?
You need to do a hashtag or a party or something for Sacred Para birthday.
I agree. I agree. So yeah, I have to I guess tomorrow I'll probably write down some ideas and then send it to you. Yes. Because last time I was going to have a Sacred Para birthday party, and I was in the hospital. I just had Malcolm, so they end up keeping me longer because I had the C-section. So I ended up spending that day in the hospital just with he and I, and then the staff gave me a birthday cake. So yeah, it was a sad birthday. It was a good birthday because I had my little bundle, you know. I was like, oh, my little bundle. But then I was like crying and stuff. I was like, oh. I'm laughing right now, but I was not laughing last year. I was like, oh. No, yeah. My husband's trying to figure out how to get up there. And it was just, we have all the kids and stuff. So
you didn't even have
him. It was
you didn't have Darren?
No. Yeah, it was a rough birthday. It really, really was. And then of course I didn't have any. If I would have been like, because I didn't know I was gonna get the C-section. So if I would have known I'm doing a C-section, I would have tried to like maybe have some pictures so that on that day I could be like, putting out some pictures,
right,
have some interaction, feel like, feel like I'm doing something for my birthday, but. Right. Yeah, so I was just thankful that, he, healthy baby, healthy delivery.
Healthy mama.
And yeah, exactly. Healthy mama. So I'm like, praise the Lord, I got this year. And like you said, let's go ahead and let's get something planned. So you're giving me some motivation to get something going for Sacred Para for the 40th birthday. I guess I'll get my mini together for her 40th.
Big deal.
So okay, so I guess we'll do some comments and then we'll talk. So yeah, we will do some playing together, and then I'll put that information out there. And then of course we've got our challenge. June 8th is my birthday. So yes, June 8th. It is coming up. And June happens to be a really big month for us because we have 5 other people with birthdays. Yeah. We've got 5 other birthdays in between. It's like a 3rd and a 6th and 9, and then the twins are in that month, and then we also got one on the 25th. So it's just like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Yes, I plan to build my dials from wood. Yes. So see, if you got someone thinking about that wood, and of course for me too, I love seeing all of it. And Tam's Barbie Life does have behind the scenes on hers as well, which helps out a lot. I love seeing her behind the scenes. Amir loves Celine, says queen of details. Yes, you are. Talking about you. Oh my God! That's when you were showing us the tour of the rooms. Someone said that they had to leave. Sadly, I'm not going to be able to stay, but I want to take this moment to say, oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's what makes your story so good, and that's in regards to you allowing your characters to speak. I vote for twins again. For Hazel to have twins again. Let me tell you, twins are adorable, but when you really do have the twins, it's like, oh God, like they're wonderful. Their personalities are just abundant. But I'm telling you, just how you have the twins in your story, like one's over here and one's over there, and that is so true. Well, so true. When one is quiet, you're just like, what's going on?
Didn't you say that your twins collided and one hurt her lip? And I was like, oh.
Yes. You and I were talking. I think that was like Thursday, and I had to stop chatting because in the midst of me texting you is when the two of them, they were going around that corner where the kitchen island is, and popped right into each other. So he got hit in the head, and he's holding his head, and then she was walking up to me and just quiet. But you could just tell that she's like swelling with emotion, and she's like, and when she let go of her hand, she had the blood and stuff. I was like, oh God, I don't even know where the blood's coming from. I don't know if it's the teeth or the gums. Like, it was. It's never a dull moment with the twins, and like the little teeth were a little bit loose, and I'm like, oh, let it, because we've had this happen with other kids too. They, it may get a little loose, and then it'll heal and stiffen up. And then you're like hoping that the tooth doesn't go crooked. And yeah, they did. They smacked right into each other. But did that stop her? No. Was she climbing again? Yes. Now, of course, they smacked each other, but she's a climber. So she likes climbing on the chairs, and she was still doing stuff. Very next day, still doing stuff. In fact, she like bumped her chin, and today she and the oldest sister, and I am going to put it out there, I know my daughter's listening, but she and my oldest daughter got into a tussle over Barbie clothes for the wedding tomorrow. They're getting the dolls set up and dressed, and I'm sorry. My twin London is like wanting her older sister to help her get the doll dressed, and then she decides, because she's 3, she's like, I'll do it. I want to do it myself. So the oldest one's like, no, I'm doing it because it's my clothes going on your doll. So I'm doing it. Here comes the tassel. And then, boom, the oldest one releases. And so the younger one, London, smack her face. And I was like, oh, you're wrong. You should have just gave it back to her. You know, like that's what it all boiled down to. My husband and I are like, you're wrong. You should have gave her back the doll because it's her doll. If she asked for the doll back,
yeah,
give it back. Remember, she's only 3. She's going to switch. She's going to turn her mind around. So now, actually later today, I'll be going through my doll clothes and trying to figure out what to give to her. But then there goes the thing about it, because she's 3, is she going to keep up with the clothes? No, I know. I want to give her the clothes so that way she doesn't have to go back to her sisters and borrow clothes. But she's going to
lose them. Like, wow, that I gave that to you.
I know. And it hurts. It hurts because you're keeping up with it, and you're giving it to them with the hope that they're going to take care of it too. And
no, she's little. She'll get there. But whew.
Oh my God, she is really, the kids, period, each have their own personality, and so that's something to kind of swallow as well all the time, because they have their own little personality. And now that I've decided to use my little tiny dolls, the little tiny Chelseas, I've been able to pull different conversations that they're having. Like, I'll text myself something that they said in order to repeat that into a storyline. And it's just something that at first I wouldn't do because I'm with my kids all the time, and I didn't feel like putting them in my story. It was like, okay, I get my little break. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I don't mind incorporating some of the some of the little funny, silly stuff that they do. Bless you.
Sorry.
This morning alone. No, you're fine. We had one. My 5-year-old was pulling elastic from his pants just for whatever reason, and the London, she's like, "You shouldn't be doing that. You're a bad example. You're showing Landon something very bad," and Landon is her twin. So she is. I mean, it's funny. Like, even our other kids have to laugh at some of the stuff that they say. And with her, she acts like she's his mom to a certain degree. She's very mothering over Landon. They're 17 minutes apart, and if you ask her who's older, she'll tell you that she's older than him, and he tells you that she's older.
Oh, is she older?
Yeah, she's 17 minutes older. She was born, and she was like 4 pounds and so many ounces. I think when we left, she may have been tipping 5 pounds, and he was like 7 pounds. He was like,
she's bitty.
And she's still, they called her Peanut. They called her, oh, you little Peanut. And so she was literally like the size of a premature baby, and he was like a full grown
newborn
little man. Yeah, and he still is. He's still much more bigger than her. He's much stockier, and she's just like little bitty, but she's very, very bossy. He's bossy too, but she's very, very bossy.
Oh, spit.
So, yes. So when I don't post, that's what I'm doing. I'm like, trying to manage all these little personalities, and it can be kind of hectic. We were looking at the Star Wars yesterday, the cartoon with Anakin, And you know how Anakin, when he was little, he had like that other side of him, just like that little dark side?
Yeah.
I tell my kids, I was like, that's you guys, because they're really, really sweet and stuff, but you give them the answer they don't want. Everyone's like,
Oh. Tell her no, she's gonna get grumpy. Like, and then you're can't me for be a parent. Like, that's not fair. Stops talking. No, I'm fine. I don't hug. But I want a hug.
I know.
Yeah.
And then that's why we take these pictures, because our doll time, our play time, it's very therapeutic. It's you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and that's part of our behind the scenes. And I love the factor being, before we leave, that you also show your other side of behind the scenes, like whenever you're doing your coffee roasting, and then you're like, oh, burnt myself.
Oh God. And yeah, last week was rough, but coffee roasting is so fun. If you guys, anyone in the US, not Hood Roasters, you can order online. I'm the only one. Please buy the coffee.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the single roaster at the shop. It's a small shop. It's tiny, and we air roast our coffee, and only 1% of the world's coffee is actually air roasted. So it blows off all the nasty debris, imperfections, and things like that. So you get you've tried the coffee.
Yes, that's just what I was about to say.
It's
and that's why it tastes so
good coffee.
It tastes really good. It does. And on top of that, I don't know how well this sounds, but even whenever you keep it for months, it still tastes good. Like, we have just like a little bit left in our bag, but it's still, like, honestly, it still tastes fresh. Like, it still tastes really, really good. Like, I can go grab it. It's just like a little bit in there, but I'm telling you, it still tastes really, really good. And now that you just said that you guys air roast it.
Yeah. It's
Because other coffee, whenever you've had it for a while, you buy it from the store, and you had it, as soon as you pop off that lid, quite honestly, if you pop off the little, foil from the lid, it just doesn't have the same taste that it did.
The one smell you get, and then it's gone as soon as you open that one. But this one, you get it. It's just...
And it tastes good.
Good.
It does. It does. So I'm going to put that down at the bottom, too. Mount Hood Roasters, and you said you can order it online.
You can order online. We ship all over the U.S., so, but yeah, it's all roasted by me. But that's what I'm doing when I'm not homeschooling or doing dolls. I'm working, roasting coffee. So.
We do the homeschooling. How is that going?
We're almost done. Yay. We're almost done. I think the kiddos are gonna go back to public school. They want to make friends in their new space, their new area. So they're ready. So it'll be a fun summer, and then we're going to go back to public schools. So, but it'll be good. It's one thing off of my plate, which is good. So
that is good. I mean, like, and that's something actually this week that we were talking to the kids about. Homeschooling is rather tough, and is especially tough as far as them being able to, socialize.
Mm-hmm.
The socializing has been like a huge, just bummer for us. And that wasn't really something that we had planned. We had always planned for them to go to school, but then we just, life happened. Ended up, we didn't want them to be behind in school, so ended up homeschooling at the number one, and then just kept going. But we also homeschool because we want to be able to get to the point of traveling and not having to ask the school, can we pull them out? And
yeah, I think more and more families are going to that too, which I think is great. There's so much to see, and I think that would be amazing if you could do that with your kiddos. Like, just see the country, see the world.
Yeah. So that's really our ultimate plan, is being able to do the world schooling. But I believe, like in your case with your girls, it's like you guys tried it, it worked. But then you were like, we're going to weigh our pros and cons. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
No, we gave it our best effort. We are very grateful, for what we did do and what the girls, they've learned a lot. And I think it was good too, because our youngest got challenged more with like math, but pushed her more with math. And I think she's actually maybe a couple grade levels ahead of where she should be. So fall might be a little interesting, but we've got a elementary school kid and a high schooler, and they just need to be, they love each other. They're the best of friends. I think they're each other's best friends, but they need to be around their own age during the day, just being social.
I totally get it. I totally get it. And that was something that we just had an opportunity with, where Darren is working at, because he's also a trainer at a local gym. So they said that, our oldest can go to the gym with him and kind of like shadow. And then there's also, now that summer hit, there's some young people going there too. And he saw like a young lady, she was like 14 or so, and he was looking. And so we're like, hey, he can, shadow you and kind of, get to meet other people. And, the same thing with the other kids. So yeah, the socializing is huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
And they need that. You don't really realize how much they need it until you pull them out. And then you're like, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be an adjustment going back, I think, because they've been out since 2 years, 2020. So, but it'll be good. It'll be really good.
It will. It will. Especially, like our school system here, and is nothing against our school system, but it's not really the greatest. It's not. Ours is not really the greatest.
Yeah.
I've worked there. That's why I say that. So I've experienced it as far as being a teacher and then being a substitute teacher. Our Catholic school system is somewhat better. I went there as a student, and then I also worked there as a substitute teacher. It is better. It's just really, really costly when you have as many kiddos as we do. So I don't really know if that's like the route that we're going to take with them, but yeah, that's been on our mind as far as like how to get them to socialize more. Because even with world schooling, even with traveling, they still need to be able to connect.
Right. And
form friendships.
Well, and that's, something that my husband and I were talking about with our oldest, is like, she's not far from like going to college and a university. And if she's never been in a high school setting, how's she going to know? Like, it might be really overwhelming to function in that like college, flow and everything. I mean, I don't know, because I'm sure lots of kids do really well that are homeschooled all through high school and then go to college, and they're just great. I just think for her, it's a good like training wheel step to maybe get back into school and the swing of things before we go off to college.
And prom too. I don't want to homeschool them into high school. One, the curriculum I imagine is going to be way deeper than when we were in school.
The program that we do, she is way more self-led. Like I'm just checking in with her. Do you need help? Like she's on it. She's got really great teachers, connection with teachers. Everything is done through the computer. So there's not a lot of, like, we can help her with like wording on papers and grammar and stuff like that. But no, the high school level, I was really impressed with how much we did not have to be hands-on. Like I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like the elementary school though is different. So
that's true.
More hands-on with her. But. And
see, like I know for myself, when I was going to Sacred Heart, there was a young lady, and we were really good friends in high school. I think she had just turned 14. She had just turned 14, and we were in 10th grade. Mm-hmm. And she was coming from being homeschooled, she and her sister.
Wow.
And her sister was older than us. And I'm trying to remember. I think that she may have been in the same, I think she was in the same grade with us. Because we were trying to understand like how that happened at the time. We were like, how is it that she's older than us and then you're younger than us and you're both in the same grade? And now homeschooling, I get it. I'm like, okay, I get it now. Everybody learns differently. Everybody has their own pace. Her sister was very, at that time, she was just very, what would it be like? Oh my, boy crazy. She was very boy crazy.
Okay.
Studies was not important to her. So for her, it was not a real big deal. And that's how she ended up being older, still doing the same studies. And the other one was more like, you know, just more geared towards doing her schoolwork.
Get it
and
done. I get it. I see both sides of that. Teenager, yeah, you should be boy crazy. Or, I mean, I say that and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, listen what I said, girls.
no, right? But yeah, so she was not interested in school. She was just ready to, you know, get it done because she had more things on her mind. So, and at the time, like I said, being in school, I didn't get it. I was like, this makes no sense. Now having kids, and I see some of my kids are more geared towards getting the schoolwork done, and they take the information and they're making a game out of it and they're helping someone else with it. And then I got the other ones that's just, you know, they're like, okay, I did page 14. Am I done? Can I close up my book? I'm ready to do this. Can we get on the Xbox? Can
I go outside? I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done with this. I'm done. I did this. I'm done. I put my name on it. I'm done. So yeah, they're just different.
Yeah, it's, our oldest is more book driven. Our youngest is very much like, I did my quota. I'm going like, but if you add one more assignment today and tomorrow and the next day, you won't have to do school on this next Friday. No, I'm good. I'm good.
And you just have to, at first I used to press them to be like what I wanted to be like, no, you're going to do the extra page. But now I'm like, hey, if you just do page 15, you know, page 15 has a star on it. Let's get it done today. You're done. You're done.
Did good, bud. That's you. I have days though, where, like, I have to do all of this. Like, how about I did good? Like, I mean, and that's what the kids being home, I think really taught me is they're just, and I've always thought tiny humans, they're frustrated. Their workload at home is like my workload at work. Like, okay, you know, today's nice. Yeah, let's cut it early today. But tomorrow we're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, so
That's true. That's true. And that's what homeschooling does do for you. It helps you to be able to realize, like you said, that they're tiny little humans and they've got their own responsibilities and their own, you know, their own character, and each one handles things differently.
mm-hmm.
And they're emotional and they're trying to balance out and learn who they are and learn each other. And so it's a lot to take in.
It is a lot. And then, you know, that I've got a 9-year-old who's on the verge, I think, of puberty. And she's a little emotional. So once those emotions kick in, you're like, why are you crying? We're just doing language arts. Like, no. But
No, seriously. I think that the puberty is hitting earlier. I really, really do. And of course now we've got different things. Like I had chicken pox. I had it twice. We go to take our kids to the pediatrician. I'm like, okay, what do we do? Because we got a lot of other people in the house.
mm-hmm.
What do you do whenever they get chicken pox? They're like, oh, they don't get them anymore.
Nope.
How do they not get them? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how do they not get them anymore? Because it was like highly contagious when we were growing up. You get it. You were like quarantined. You couldn't go to school. If you had parents that never had, you couldn't be around them.
Oh, my parents, when I got it, it was over Christmas break. And my mom, I think it was like 8. My mom was like, go play Lincoln Logs with your brother. And because she was both done over Christmas break, and like it backfired because I had like 20. It was an easy case. They stopped counting over 300 on one arm. They stopped counting. Yeah, so it kind of backfired a little bit, but she got both done during Christmas break. So,
oh no!
Box anymore.
So like when she told you to go play Lincoln Logs, did she know that he could catch it?
Yeah, that's because that's what our pediatrician told her to do, was get your kids to play together. Like people like yeah. So because the theory was, I think, is if you got it, you wouldn't get it. Like,
mm-hmm.
oh, well, we have 2 kids. Let's just, one's got it. Yes. It was, yeah.
Hey, I can't even get mad about it. I did, like I said, I ended up getting it twice. I thought for sure, since we had it in our generation, that the little ones would have it. And yeah, they don't get it anymore because of the vaccinations that they give them. So this is my theory. I could be wrong, but I also believe that the vaccinations kind of set off an early puberty, because that's what I've experienced with my little kiddos. My oldest one, things are really balancing out for him right now, but for a while he had these emotions and these hormonal things going on that he couldn't really, none of us could understand. We're like, what is this? And so we took him in, I want to say, to the endocrinologist. I believe that's the name. It sounds about right to me. And basically she was like, he's not going through puberty, but he has all of the, hormonal makeup of going through puberty, but his hormones are not actually doing it. But he's like in an early onset of puberty, and he was around 9.
Interesting. Okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, they ran their tests and stuff, and because we were like, this is pretty, this is getting kind of far. Like we need to understand what's going on with you, because you had the strong emotions of happiness and sadness and anger, and we were just like, what's going on? And of course we were bringing new people into the house called siblings, so the kids were trying to deal with that too. Like, why do you keep bringing people in the house?
No, this is our family. Poor babies. Like, we're good. We're good. No.
They were good. We weren't asking them, hey, do you want another sibling? So they were just like, this is too much. This is
not a
yeah. So we thought maybe that, and I think that also influenced, what was going on at the time. But yeah, that puberty and the onset of it,
it's rough. It's rough.
It is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I couldn't say if it's, I know people do like, oh, it's worse for girls than boys. I just think I think it's rough either way.
Yeah. Whatever works for the human, it bases on the human. That's because our oldest was not as emotional this early. So I think my husband and I are like, are we in for a rough haul with this one? Woo!
It's different, and your kids teach you how to be parents, and they teach you how to, if we bring this all the way back around to what we're doing right now, how to build characters.
Yeah.
The whole layering of things. And on one aspect, someone may seem this way, but yet when you dig a little deeper, there's some other layers going on. And so that's what I've experienced with our little kiddos. That's why, like, when we had the situation with my oldest today and our 3-year-old a long time ago when we were younger, we probably would have got all like flipped out and everything else. You know what I mean? Because we're young ourselves and we're trying to understand, and we kind of felt like emotionally you should be concrete. It should be just like this. But now, after so many kids and us growing, it's like, we had the talk, and it's just like, that wasn't right what you did.
Yeah.
You need to do this right. And she had her little, she had her little time of trying to get herself together emotionally on it. And then she eventually ended up, apologizing to her sister, and her sister, was like, I forgive you. They had the hug and stuff, just getting her to understand, she's 3 and you're 10. And so, you've got to kind of navigate.
Yeah. Put it into perspective. I hate saying it, but like, be the bigger person, be the bigger sibling, to be like, okay, what do I know about this situation? Okay, I should stop. Like, because then you're also, it's like a teaching moment. That's what I try and tell our list is like, then, if you behave this way, then she kind of steps back. I'm sure that London looks up to her. Like, she just, that's her big sister. So she wants to be like her. So she sees her sister kind of step back and be reserved and mature. She's more likely to imitate, which is good.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true. She's like I said, she's a very interesting one because she has a lot of her oldest sister. She has a lot of that middle sister, Elizabeth. She, picks up with both of them. And then she has a lot of just herself. Just herself. Like I remember she was walking around the house for a little while there and she was just, I'm trying not to say it, but she was just like, shit. We never had any of the other ones do that. And we were like, you gotta watch your mouth here. And she was just doing it, just do it whenever she wanted to. And now her brother, he wasn't doing it. And he's the little late bloomer because now he does.
Oh no.
But he whispers it. They'll be like, oh, Landon, you can't say that. They'll be like, I'm gonna get your ass or something like that. No, he'll say something under his breath, and I'm like, no, he didn't say that. And they're like, yes, he did.
Like, he didn't say that. And he's like,
where did you get that from? I said before that we do have a bit of a potty mouth at times. I try not to. I especially don't try to put it in my storyline. But there are times.
Yeah, it happens. It
happens.
It's language. I have a funny story about our youngest, and we're sitting at the dinner table, and we were eating chicken. I don't even know. She took a bite and dropped her fork, and just goes F. Well, she said the word effing Batman. First off, secondly, what did Batman do? Like, oldest is looking at us like, can I laugh? Like, this is funny. Like, can I laugh? And we're like, shh, straight face. No. We don't that language.
Oh my gosh.
Still don't know why
it's
Batman. No clue. So,
yeah.
The kids say the funniest things, and you're like, where did they hear that?
Blame cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Blame the neighbors. Like, oh, okay, they must have heard the neighbors. Not here. We don't say that. We don't say that at all. I know, right?
I'm a lady. I don't do that.
Oh man, but they do. They do. They say the funniest things, and then you're able to fit that in with your storyline and just in life period. So yeah, so we're just giving you, I guess, a little behind the scenes of what we deal with off and on in life.
Scenes like behind the door, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Good. Well, I always enjoy talking to you. I do. And then us being able to have this face-to-face contact as well, it's always enjoyable.
I'm hopeful that you're going to take the kids on the road and you guys will stop here and hang out here. And
first place. Honestly, literally the first place that we're going to.
Then we'll go up to Washington. We'll follow you up to Washington and go adventure up there because that'll be fun.
Okay. Yes. I'm gonna, yeah. We need to plan that.
So, yes.
We do. We talk, guys. We do. Like, our friendship and our sisterhood has been, man, it's been transformational for me. It's been really, it's been a true blessing.
Healing.
And, man, yes.
Healing. Yes. Yeah, that's my word for it. Healing and just very fulfilling, which I really appreciate you and everything that you
appreciate you.
Life.
You know that I appreciate you. I really, really do. I truly do. I appreciate you. And honestly, our friendship and what we have together has been, I mean, like, if I had to say anything, like this has been the best part of being a part of the Dow community. It's not against anyone else. It's just that the connection that you and I have, and me being able to relate to you and talk to you about things that I don't talk to people about.
Exactly. Exactly. It's such a deep spot in my heart. Like, I am still always searching for a mini sacred para that I can add into my world, but I'm like, I don't know which one to choose because like you just mean so much. But
I am definitely. We definitely need to do that. 'Cause even with my mini, I will admit, like I look at her and I'm like, I don't wear blue eyeshadow, but I'm so afraid to take the eyeshadow off of her.
Like my mini has blue eyes. I have green eyes. And I'm too scared to change your eyes. So I'm like, well, I had blue eyes when I was born, so I guess that works. But they're great.
I never even noticed that though.
Oh, yeah.
I never noticed that her eye color was different. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Very blue.
But it's not like a real bad thing at all.
No, it's honestly my eye color is Hazel's eye color. She has the same eye color as me, and I'm like, your eyes are so pretty. Like, why can't they be on all the tubs? But I
love it. I love it. I'm gonna have to coordinate a mini, even if I just end up making, rooting one and then sending her to you.
Yeah.
And then that way she can be in your world. Yes. And then I already have Margot. Margot's actually sitting on my shelf right now, but I have got to get a version of your mini so I can have her too.
I need a backup of her. I need to order a second one because I'm always worried like something's going to happen to her. And honestly, when I was spray painting the other day, I think something splattered on her face. I got to work on that today and try and get it off. So I'm like,
okay.
Oh, she's got a spot on her face. So might have to get a replacement soon. I know, like, how do I? Actually, I have a question. If anybody has tips for the darkening of the hands around the fingers, does anybody struggle with that? And how do you lighten it?
Oh no!
Like,
yeah. So
does the vinyl stains a little after like so many? I mean, they've been used so much. So
I tell you,
somebody said acne cream. But I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about putting it on. I guess it's just her hand.
I've used acne cream before, but not for the fingers. I mean, I imagine it would still work. I have used the acne cream
right here
for like yeah, and it's sitting out in the sun.
Okay.
I have done that.
I don't get some.
I was trying to see anybody say anything. Yeah, so actually, Purple Consular, hello. She said acne cream.
Okay, thank you. I will try it.
5% or higher. Oh,
that makes sense.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that because I've used acne cream and not had it work before, and I've used acne cream and had it work before, but I had to like do like several times. So I didn't know that 5% or higher. Thank you, Purple Consular. Yeah.
I am getting a phone call. I hate to cut you off.
Oh my goodness, you are so good. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're gonna talk.
Yes. Love you guys.
Love you, sis. All right. Bye, you guys.